Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Unbound. So we are in 1.11 of this series, which is equivalent representations of polynomial and rational expressions. Let's get started. Equivalent representations and of polynomial and rational expression. The main goal is to express function, equation, or any expression in analytically equivalent forms. So it's not just a one form, like a polynomial function can be represented, there can be more than one form. And we will learn how to express based on our mathematical or applied context. So every problem needs some kind of equivalent representation, right? So let's break it down. Standard form of a polynomial function. Standard form will be written like this, like it will be added terms or subtracted terms, something like this, and power should be in decreasing order, right? Highest to lowest. In that form, we should write. That's the standard form. Okay, what can I do from the standard form? How can I apply this in my math context? So from this form, you can directly identify degree. No need to do any alterations or any simplifications. Directly you can find degree. So here highest exponent is degree. I hope you remember. It's 5. So from this, we can easily identify in behavior of the graph. And also it's from this directly we can identify the y-intercept, the constant term. So standard form will be helpful here, and also leading coefficient also you can easily get. As you can see, the leading term, degree, leading coefficient, and end behavior analyzing purposes, this will be the easiest form. Okay, so we will rely on this form for end behavior and y-intercept. Now, another form of a polynomial function is factored form. So factored form is something like this. Factors. So polynomials are based on factors, and factors might have multiplicity. So it's product of factors. It represented in that form. Yeah, this is a very important and curious step. So from this, we can identify zeros, directly identify zeros. Set each factor to 0, and you will get the zeros, or we can say x-intercepts, correct? Or roots also you will say. And from this, we can easily get the multiplicity. Multiplicity also plays an important role, how the graph behaves near the zeros, right? That can be done. So multiplicity will tell us how many times that 0 repeats. 8 times it repeats. Not only how many times, it also tells whether it touches or crosses, right? So multiplicity easily visible here. And this is an example, x is equal to -5 has a multiplicity 8 means the graph touches at this 0. Actually, it's even. So the graph touches at 0. So odd means what? At x is equal to 3, the graph crosses the 3. This way, this factored form is helpful. Correct? Now, a rational function standard versus factored form. So first standard form will be, numerator will be a polynomial, like standard form of a polynomial. Denominator also will be a standard form. So from this, we can identify horizontal asymptote. So horizontal asymptote, just degree comparison. I will recall this. If your numerator wins in degree competition, y equal to 0 is horizontal asymptote. If your denominator wins, no horizontal, might be a slant asymptote or oblique. If there is a tie, both have same degree. So we will say y equal to ratio of leading coefficients. So just if you have this standard form of rational function, we can apply these conditions quickly, and directly we can find the horizontal asymptotes. And of course, y-intercept by plugging in 0. It's easy to find the y-intercept from the standard form, then the factored form. Correct? So horizontal asymptote and y-intercept. Now, factored form, numerator polynomial will be in factored format. Denominator also will be in factored format. Many things we can do, and this is very important for rational function. Domain, zeros, wholes, vertical asymptotes. So all this can be found only from the factored form. Right? So that's the thing. So one quick recall. So polynomial factored, zeros and multiplicity. Polynomial standard, degree, y-intercept, it will help us in end behavior. Rational factor, domains, wholes, zeros, vertical asymptotes. Standard form, horizontal asymptotes and y-intercept. Right? And we have to learn one more technique in expressing equivalent expressions of a given polynomial or a rational function. Let's see what is that. So before that, we have to learn what Pascal's triangles is. Pascal triangle is array of numbers, which looks like a triangular shape. You have to start with 1. And next, first row is 1. Second row, it's 11. 1, 1. Then third row will have 3 numbers, 1, 1, and 2. How I got this to just add the above numbers. Then next row, for sure, the starting and ending will be 1. Then 2 gaps are there, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3. So very simple, start with 1, end 1. Then again, I put end once. Now 1 plus 1 is 2. Then 1, 1, 1 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 1, 3. In that way, we will do this. This will be helpful for us while we are expanding binomial expression, right? So let's see how it will work. The binomial theorem says a binomial raised to a positive power. How can we express that? So a plus b is a binomial. We are raising it to n. N can be 0 or n can be 1, 2, 3, like positive number. Even like we know till a plus b the whole cube, we know the formula. But what if it goes like 8, 10? So we will apply this formula, a binomial theorem. So C1, a and b naught. C2, a power n minus 1, b power 1. C3, a power n minus 2, b power 2, and so on. Cn minus 1, a power 1, bn minus 1, Cn, a naught, b naught. Very simple. Binomial will have 2 terms. Okay. And I will tell you about C1, C2, C3 after this. So we have to make terms. When you expand it, it will be sum of terms. So first term should be raised to power n, the highest power, whichever they are given, that power. And b will be 0. Then next term, the a power n will reduce to 1 and b will have 1 raise. A power n minus 1, b power 1. Then similarly, you should decrease the powers of first term and increase the powers of second term. Right? So on we should go until a becomes 0 and b becomes the full power. Right? And the C1, C2, C3, Cn minus 1, Cn or Pascal's triangles number. So if you got something like x plus 5 whole power 10, you have to pick the 10. So this is row 1, but when n is 0, this will be the coefficient. When n is 1, this will be the coefficient. When n is 2, when n is 3, when n is 4, in that way. So you have to pick when n is equal to 10, that means the 11th row. C1, C2, C3. For example, let me do for x plus 5 whole power 4. So it's x power 4, 5 power 0 plus x will be reduced to 1 power, 5 will gain 1. Plus, I'm leaving some space for constants. X will become 2, 5 also will become 2. Plus, x will become 1, 5 will become 3. Plus, x will become 0, 5 will become 4. It's reached its whole power. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's power 4, it will have 5 terms. Okay, one more than the degree. So, I have to use this. So, whole power 4, this row. 1, 4, n is equal to 4 means this. So we have to use it in order 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. That's it, and you can simplify this. Okay, so this is binomial theorem. And with this, and yes, apart from this, you will have polynomial division, synthetic division, all those things will be also included while we are converting, doing this interrelation between expressions, right? So let's move for question. For the function, f of x is x cubed minus 8, express in factored form, analyze the end behavior, analyze where your function is greater than 0, less than 0, equal 0. Very simple problem. First, factorizing. Okay, so you can observe one thing. Factorization have many techniques, right? So here one of the technique is applied. We know this a cube minus b cube can be factorized as a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. So here this also x cube minus 8 can be written as 2 cube. So it will be x minus 2 into x square plus 2x plus 4. Right, that's it, factorization over. If you try to factorize it, you can't. Because its discriminant will be 0 less than 0. That's why. So this is the maximum factorization we can do. One linear and one quadratic factor. Okay, we express this in factored form. A is over. Right, analyze the end behavior. For end behavior, I won't look at the factored form. I will be just looking at the leading term. It's positive. Leading coefficient is positive. And degree is odd. Okay. So if it's odd, one side up, other side down, or this side down, this side up, other side down. So which one? If it's positive, right positive, left negative. So this is the behavior, right? So, but you should not write like this. You have to tell as x approaches positive infinity, your f of x also approaches positive infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, your f of x going down means negative infinity. This way you can say, or you can use the limit notation. So how will you write this in limit form? Limit x tends to infinity, f of x equal plus infinity. Limit x tends to negative infinity, f of x equal to negative infinity. Something like this we can mention, right? So analyzing behavior is over. Now coming to third part, where your function is greater than 0, less than 0, equal 0. Equal 0 means where it crosses x-axis. So for this, you have to use the sign diagram. Only one real 0. So mark the real zeros alone, which is x minus 2 is a factor. So 2 is a 0. And this will give you complex zeros. So that will not be helpful in analyzing the C part. Okay. So after 2, what is the sign? Just plug in your function. For example, you can put 3 cube minus 8. Okay. After this, if you plug in, it will be positive. Left after, if you plug in, this will be negative. Okay. So negative. So that's it. Now you can write it minus infinity, infinity. F of x is greater than 0 from plus 2 to infinity. Okay. And f of x is less than 0 to the left of 2, negative infinity to 2. And f of x equals 0 at x is equal to 2. This is analyzing the increasing, decreasing behavior. Right? That's simple first question. Now we are moving into problem number 2. For the function, okay, it's a rational function. You have to express in factored form and find domain, zeros, wholes, asymptotes, y-intercept. Almost we are trying to find everything about this rational function. Okay, so first in factored form, correct? So here we go. Okay, here you can take commenting out. If you can see, if you can take a comment stuff out, do that first. X square is the maximum I can take out and I will get x minus 9. Denominator, let me do this. X square minus 5x plus 6. Quadratic factorization. Product I need, sum I need minus 5. 2 times 3 is 6. If you give both minus, it also gives minus 5 and positive. So that is, and you can write x minus 2 and x minus 3. Okay. So factorization is over. No more factorization after this. So A part is done. Now find domain, zeros, wholes, asymptotes, and y-intercept. Okay. For finding domain, don't take the simplified format. Actually, yeah. So for domain, no simplest format. Keep that in mind. So here, set your denominator to 0. Okay, denominator not equal 0 for domain. X minus 2 should not be 0. X minus 3 should not be 0. So which implies your x cannot be 2 and 3. Right? So from R, we are just removing 2 and 3 alone. Right? You can write in internal notation also, but I'm writing in the simpler manner. Now, zeros. Zeros means setting numerator to 0. If you have common factors, right? So you can cancel it out. So zeros here I didn't have any. So I'm just taking the numerator available here equal to 0. And x square equal to 0. This says x is equal to 0. X minus 9 equal to 0 means x is 9. So 2 zeros at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 9. Okay, next one, wholes. Wholes means I will take the cancelled out factors and set them to 0. Okay, so here any cancelled out factors? No. Wholes? No, because no cancelled factors. Okay, now next one is asymptotes, horizontal and vertical asymptotes, and then y-intercept. Okay, so let's do that in next slide. Let's take this complete form and here we go. Okay. So horizontal asymptote, I won't look at the factored form. Okay. So horizontal asymptote degree is cube, degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator. So numerator wins. So what we can say? No horizontal asymptote, maybe a slant asymptote. No HA, right? Next one, vertical asymptote. If cancelled out factors are there, we will take the new simplest function denominator and put it to 0. Here it's no simplest form, it's already in simplest form. So for vertical asymptote, set your denominator equal 0. And that will give you vertical asymptote. X is 2 and X is 3. Right? Next one is y-intercept. Y-intercept also standard form will be helpful. So for y-intercept, set X is equal to 0. And solve for y. So f of 0 equal to, the numerator will completely become 0. And denominator, I don't care about it. Unless and until it becomes 0, denominator will be 6. So 0 by anything, it's going to be 0. Right? So what is a y-intercept? The origin is a y-intercept. That's it. So question number 2 is over. Now question number 3. What is the third term in the when 3x plus 2y whole power 5 is expanded? Okay, so let's start with this. Actually, here is a change. That will be 1080. I hope you get the answer. Anyways, let's see how to solve this. They are asking third term. Okay, so for a binomial expansion, it's whole power 5. So let's make a Pascal triangle. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1. Add this up, 4, 6, 4. This is zeroth row. Okay, don't take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's wrong. Okay, this is zeroth row, first row, second row, third row. This is fourth row. And fifth row will be 5, 10, 10, 5. So when you expand anything whole power 5, your terms will be 6. Power 10, your terms will be 9. So here I have 6 terms. Okay, what is the third term? Pick 10. So coefficient is 10. Right? Then first term will be raised to the 5, power 5, power 0. Here 4, 1 combination. Here 3, 2. So first will be third term means first term raised to 3 and then second term raised to remaining power. Total power is 5. 3 applied here, so remaining 2 will be applied here. Right? So 10, 3x the whole cube is 27x cube. 2y square is 4y square. And we can multiply. 270 times 4 or 10 times 27 times 4 is 4 times 7 is 22, 10, 108, x cube y square. So x cube y square, so these options will not. And 1080 x cube y square. Hence option A. Right? So that's question 3. As usual, I have a bonus question for you here. Okay, so in the xy plane, the graph has this limit condition. Which of the following would be g of x? Okay, so this is an easy question. You don't want to type that much in comment. Just drop your answer A, B, C, or D. Or if you see multiple answers, you type A, B, anything. Right. So that's it for today's video. I will be meeting you next video very soon. Until then, keep learning. And if you want to join student community of Let's Unbound, you can scan the QR code here. Thank you. Stay curious.